It used to be Neches Mekubalim, today everybody is ready. So there's here by Musaf of Rosh Chodesh, by the Shem, from Baruch Atah Hashem, Mekadosh Yisrael, the Rosh Chadashim, you should be mechaven a different one of the 12 tzirufim of Shem Yud Kei Vavke and Shem Eke. The Shem Yud Kei Vavke and the Shem Eke, both because of the same reasons that they both have two hays and whatever, have 12 different combinations. That's it, not more. So for every chodesh is a different combination based on a pasuk, and the result it should be mechaven. In the bottom it says, what do you do? I the sheni. The sheni is doesn't have a tziruf. There's only 12 tzirufim. We're up to 13. What are you supposed to do? So it says on the bottom. The question is who this comes from. It says yechavein beklolos kulam yachad. And that's why people daven today very long. If you came home late for breakfast, ad sheni yechavein kulam yachad. Kol hayud beis tzirufei havaya ve'ekeh. So it's just a very interesting thing from Rabbi B'Simcha that if you add, you could do it the shorter way. If you add Eke and Yud Kei Vav Kei, it's 26 and 21 is 47. And you multiply 47 times 12, right? The 12 Tzirufei Havaya and the 12 Tzirufei, you're very fast in these things. 12 times 47 is 564. And the gematria of Od Sheni is 565. So it's kind of all of them. Yeah, it's interesting. Fine. Good. So I put on the second side because there's some interesting pieces here. From we never yet was able to learn from the Sasemes Likutim. The Sasemes Likutim is a sefer from Ksavim that he wrote when he was a young man, before he became a Rebbe. He wrote it for himself. Officially, he didn't want it should be printed. But people got a hold of it and they started to print it. A little piece got out, so the Imam said, let them print it already. So they printed the Kutim. It's a little bit of a different style. A lot of the things he said later, more elaborate. We made over a few pieces. The cover Rosh Chodesh Adar Sheni. Omu Chazal, Mishenichnis, yeah, it's the second side, the Kutim. Omu Chazal, Mishenichnis Adam Adam B'Simcha. The Chol days it goes already tonight. The real Mishenichnis comes in different stages. Nichnis Adar Aleph, Nichnis Adar Beis. We're up to already Nichnis Adar Beis, right? The Mishkan, there was a Chatzah, there was a Heichel, it was Kodesh HaKadosh. We're going in bit by bit. Now we're ready more of a Yom HaKnisa. Mishenichnis Adam Adam B'Simcha Ubori Mazle Yisrael. It's a Lashon HaGemara. Gemara says Bori Mazle Yisrael. The mazel of Klal Yisrael is strong. That's why the Gemara says if you have a din with a guy and you have to go to court, you should go in Adam. Because you have a stronger mazel. Bori Mazle. Avo, the Gemara in Tainis. Avo, Chodesh, so he says, Vagam she'ein Mazle Yisrael. There's no mazel Yisrael. The Gemara says at the end of Shabbos. It wasn't even Bori Mazle. Avo, Chodesh hazeh l'mala min ha'mazel. Now he says Stam Chodesh Adar. Chodesh Adar b'chlal is above the mazolis. Something like Yosef HaTzadeh, we'll see soon. V'chein ma'abren ha'shona ba'adar. That's why ma'abren ha'shona ba'adar. What he means to say, they made a comma, I don't know if the comma belongs there. He's going to explain himself. Adar, you can't be ma'aber another chodesh, right? That's a Gemara in Brachas, Navir, Chizkiyahu made a mistake. You can't be ma'aber only Adar. Why is Adar? Why is Adar more oimed to Ibor than another chodesh? So what he means to say is, if you're going to be ma'aber Adar, they're both going to be Adars, right? It's Adar Aleph, Adar Beis, but they're both Adars. In Mela, the 13th chodesh Zchus doesn't have a mazel. No mazel, it's your base mazolas. So which one are you going to make into a 13th? Has to be one that is already on the borderline. Also a bit higher. It's a bit akochim. It's also not so stark under the mazel. Maybe he could break into another adar which is above mazol as well. No shachas to mazolas. Let me say over. We said over once already. It says in the pasuk by Melchemes Amalek Choose people and go fight with Amalek. So Rashi says, what do you mean, who do you choose? Rashi says, you should choose people that know how to be mevatel kishofim, because Amalek mechashfim hoyu. The Chizkuni, which is printed in the back, and the ones it's in the Chumash, the Chizkuni says, because Chedesh Adar, they should choose people who are born in Adar Sheni. Because in Adar Sheni there's no mazel, and Memela, kishofim can't hurt them. Kishofim could only affect tachas hamazolis. There's no mazel. So Al he brings this well that she's going to bring soon, that Adar Sheni has a special koyach. It's above Teva. It's above the koyach of mazolis, of Teva. I want to say just a drush word, which is a little chizek. It says in Svarim, a remez, maybe we mentioned once before, it says in Svarim a remez. It says in Pasuk Yehuda, in Parshos Miketz, Yehuda said to Yaakov, Ki lule hismahamonu, if we wouldn't have wasted time, Ki ata shavnu zeh pamoyim, we would have returned already twice. What are you wasting time for? We could have been there and back, as like you say. So the Svarim say, lule is Esis El. Ki lule hismahamonu, if we were late in El and doing tshuva, Ki ata shavnu, now is a good time to do tshuva. When? Zeh pamoyim. When the 12th Chodesh repeats itself, when they have two Ados. So what? Why? Why? The question is why. So one explanation I'm saying, there's more, maybe more emes explanation, but the Chodesh Halava says, and he uses this shloshon, he says one of the things that holds a person back from doing tshuva is, because he says, I'm a shlemazel, that's my mazel. He says the word al tisla belule. If I wouldn't have been born with this teva, with this tivi, with this mazel, I would be able to be better. But I can't. That's my mazel. So that's he calls lule. Lule this I would have been able to do tshuva, but now I can't. So Mamela the word goes that an el, and that's an el. But in other sheni there's no mazolas. Nobody's a shlemazel in other sheni. So ki lule ismamonu. If you were late in El with a lule teretz, ki ata shavnu, when it's zeh pamayim. There's no mazel in other sheni. Al kol panim, maybe we'll say another hasbah, but that's a bit of chizuk that Adar is more siyata d'shmaya. Another time that I can say is because truth has to be ba'isei mokum, ba'isei zman. Every chodesh has a different tziruf of Shem Havaya. Correct? It belongs to, so Mamela there's a certain miyuchadike koyach that's in that chodesh. Now if he's in that chodesh, how does he do tshuva in this chodesh? It's a different tziruf. But a chodesh Adar Sheni, you could have all the combinations, the same word. It has all the combinations. It's easier to connect to whichever zman he was in. Okay. V'isa, ki be'Adar Sheni ein mazel. T'rak yud beis mazolas yesh, v'yud beis chadoshim, or yud beis shvotim. Oh. Now we run into a problem. The tour in Tov Yud Zayin, beginning with Hilchos Chodesh, says Shomati me'ochel Rabbi Yehuda, that the Yud Beis Chadoshim, the Gimel Moyado is a keneged the Oveis. That's really a medrash, but he brings it from his brother. And the Yud Beis Chadoshim are also Shtikul Moyed, the Gemara says, is keneged the Yud Beis Shvotim. That's where it comes from the tour. There's a question, how do you work? So there is a shaila, but that is all. That's how most people go. You go with the Seder HaShvatim from Chumash Bamidbar, which is the Seder HaDegolim. So then, Adar should be Naphtali, in a regular year. But what do you do in a Shnasa Ibor? There's a 13th Chodesh. So who gets that Chodesh? That's the question. So he doesn't bring it. The Kedushas Levi, but actually it's a Mashah. The Mashah says in Sanhedrin Yud Beis, by the Sugya from Ibor Shana, the Mashah talks about it. The Mashah says that Adar, when it's a Shnasa Ibor, goes to Yosef. Because Yosef is the only Shevet who broke into two, Ephraim and Menashe. Memela, and his Mazel others Dogam, he says, and by Yosef it says, V'yidgu la'oi, it's a Mashah. So he says, in the Shnasa Ibor, it goes to Yosef. Now, whether he doesn't shift it probably from Naphtali, and doesn't have to stomach that. And Ephraim and Menashe really have their Chadoshim, because we go with the Golem, so there's Tishrei and Cheshvan belongs to Ephraim and Menashe. So I think the best way to understand it is, Yosef was named Yosef for two reasons. One, Yosef Hashem li ben Acher, which is that's a say Toiv, Yosef, to be Moisef. He has a whole different reason for his name, which is Osaf Hashem es Raposi, to remove the Cherpa, to remove the Ra, to remove the Or, or whatever. So there's two, that's why he had Ephraim and Menashe. Ephraim is Asay Toiv, Menashe is Sumerah. We're not going to go into an Aricha. So what he means is, it's not Ephraim and Menashe. It's Yosef betchinas Ephraim and Menashe. But he didn't say it's Ephraim and Menashe. He said it's Yosef. It's Yosef, and Yosef has two b'chinas to his name. So therefore, there's two shvatim, two chadoshim in a shnasa eva goes to Yosef. Makes a lot of sense. Stamazay, maybe the Mashal says it also, because Yosef is Heisafa, and what's a shnasa eva? The whole Chedesh is a Heisafa. So the whole idea of Heisafa belongs to Yosef. I think the Mashal adds that also in something other than your base. Others bring it from the Kedushas Levi. I believe that Kedushas Levi already mentions the Mashal too. Anyway, it has to do with Yosef. The Rabbeinu Bechaya in Chumash brings that Yosef was born on Rosh Chodesh Adar. Happy birthday. Weiter. Adar neged Yosef, shenechlek l'shnayim, l'chein yesh shnei adorim. B'chinas Yosef HaTzadik, the oched b'shmaya v'ara. The b'china of Yosef HaTzadik is that he's oched b'shmaya v'ara. That's a lotion of a Targum in Tanakh. We say, a pasuk in Divrei Yomim, we say it every day. Hashem aglu agot v'ez ha'netzav yahoid. There was a midas, and it says ki chayil b'shamayim uve'oretz. Ki chayil is the midah of Yesod. I'm not going to go into arichas now. Ki chayil is the midah of Yesod. Why is that? Ki chayil is the gematria of Yesod. Ki chayil is the gematria of Yesod. But what does it say in the pasuk? Ki chayil b'shamayim uve'oretz. Says the Targum. That's a tzaddik, the oched b'shmai v'ara. He's ma'ached shemayim and oretz. Pashtus, it means he doesn't do anything in oretz that doesn't connect it to shemayim. Pashtus. Either you want to go in a pashtus to l'shem shemayim or higher ma'ached, but pshat is he connects both worlds. That's the type of midas yesod. Everything in this world is a foundation for something higher. Easy way to hear it. Yeah? You don't have to get more than that. Ukemoy HaShabbos, he's going to explain. That's the midah of Yosef. Yosef is Yesod. Yosef connects Shemayim and Aretz. Ukemoy HaShabbos to Hushvi L'mei Umala Hazman L'Shereshay. Shabbos brings this is mala the everything that we did in the 6 days of the week. It brings it back to its shoyesh. The shoyim we already say. Shabbos is from the word shav. It returns back to its source, and we start all over again. That's the idea, the concept of lechem mishnah. It's double. So lechem min ha'aretz and lechem min ha'shamayim. It's an arichas now. But interesting that lechem, two lechems, is gematria Yosef. We talked about other times that Shabbos is with Yosef and Shabbos go together. K'moi kein chodesh hazeh malak kol hachadoshim. This chodesh is also takes everything that we did a whole year and brings it all together and connects it to the source. Klal Yisrael have the Koach Sanhedrin. They are the ones who are Abed Shana. HaKadosh Baruch Hu maskim imohem. Lirmois ki b'nei Yisrael yecholim l'shanis ha'mazal v'yateva. The Zman is in the hands of Klal Yisrael. L'fi shesheshem shel b'nei Yisrael l'mala me'el Zman v'yateva. The shirish of Bnei Yisrael is l'mala from the Zman v'yateva. Kol simchoson ki shemagia eish shel l'mala min ha'mazal. Since Klal Yisrael b'chlal are really not under the mazolets, they have a special simcha, he says, when you get to a chodesh that's not tied to mazel. Because Be'etzim Klal Yisrael also not connected to mazel. They live in a world that's connected to mazel. But the etzem sheirish of Yid is l'mala from mazoles. That's why it's a special chodesh bori. It's a special chodesh. It's a chodesh that if it could break off and create another chodesh that doesn't have a mazel, it's also a bit always l'mala min a mazel. Kol shekain when we have a 13th Chodesh, it's the Mala from Hamazal. L'chein also Simcha Seuda be'ibur Shana. The Gemara says on that, let's make a big Suda. Pasha was to be mefasim the thing, but it's more than that. There was a Simcha in that we have a koyach to be me'abed Shana. There's a Mashor there in Sanhedrin, after the whole Gemara, that the Umas Ha'olam, Esav counts Shnei Sachama, and they only have 12 months, even when they have a leap year. And the Yishmaelim also have Yud Beis Nesiim, and they only have 12 months. Their Taka calendar goes a little wacky. So in the 13th month, he says, Klaisel have a special shlita over Yishmael and Esav, Santa Masha. And then Pshat is to see the Gemara, he goes on the Gemara. Okay. Now, Yud Beis, I just wanted, we should be a little bit besimcha on the Chodesh that's coming. Yud Beis Chadoshim, another piece, we go faster a little bit. Yud Beis Chadoshim, we couldn't say Yud Beis Shvatim. Chodesh Adorim is L'Yosef. Chodesh Beis Adorim. Very good. V'hinei, Yud Beis Shvatim, Oyuchakuken, this has to do with the Parsha a little bit. Oyuchakuken b'Choshen HaMishpat. It says in Pikudei as well. The Yud Beis Shvatim, Oyuchakuk on the Choshen HaMishpat. Right? And then there's on the ephod, right? On the Choshen HaMishpat, each Shevet had their own stone, and then on the ephod was all the Shvatim. Which stone was on the ephod? Yosef's stone. Shoyam was Yosef's stone. Shoyam Anisho Yosef v'egam be'ephod. K'moi shekesafti b'mokem macha. This has an older svarim that Yosef has two bechinos. He's amongst the Shvatim, but he's really above the Shvatim. It's a pasuk. There's a few psukim. Yosef is a drop higher than the Shvatim. He is between the Shvatim, but he's higher than them. He replaced himself with Ephraim and Manasseh. On the Choshen, it didn't have Ephraim and Manasseh. It had Yosef, right? But on the ephod, it had all the Shvatim together. There they used Yosef's stone. Yosef picks them up. Shem echad alachecha. Uksiv mishpat utstoka b'Yakov. Ki Yud Beis Chadoshim manhigim kol ha'olam b'Yud Beis Mazolis. Zeh b'chines Choshen HaMishpat. It's a mishpat. Goes with a mishpat. Ach tztoka ksiv bei tztoka teroimim goi. Pasuk says tztoka picks us up higher. Truma. Shayidei ashkolim nisroimemu roishim shel b'nei Yisrael v'nis'alu leb'chines Yosef. The Hele Yosef kol ha'shvatim imoy. Yosef picked up all the shvatim sheyahayu kulam ksuvim ba'avnei shoyam shel ha'ephod. V'zeh b'chines l'mala me'anhagas ha'teva v'yamazolis. Let's say good what he said. An ekevot, what we could take out from it and say it our own way, but it's good. The deher is that on the Choshen there was the 12 shvatim. 12 stones, 12 shvatim. That's the anhaga of the Yudei Chadoshim. That's in the Choshen Mishpat. It has a Mishpat. It has Mazolis. It's a Kvius. On the ephod is above that. That's what we say. The ephod is above the Shvatim. It's above the Yud Beis Chadoshim. That's Yosef. Yosef has that koyach of a Yisafah of jumping Shem Echad Alachecha above Teva. With the koyach of Tshuva that he did, he broke Teva, says in the Gemara, Ayom Rav Ayonis. So that's a different Seder. The Seder that's on the ephod is above the Seder of the Choshen. That's what he's saying. L'chein Seid ha'ibur le'nimtzah rak lebnei Yisrael. The Seid ha'ibur was only given to Klal Yisrael. V'zeu b'chines Adar Sheni. The idea of Adar Sheni, the Shlach Kodesh talks about, is l'hashreis halavona machama. Right? That's the whole idea. V'yosef em hashvatim ha'echinu kol eila tikunim l'doiros. They prepared these tikunim l'doiros. To be misakin, the chet again, we talked about it once before. Let's say it b'kitzur, as I could. The Shlach Kodesh says the Inyan of Shevav and Tat, right? The Magen Avraham, the end of Tov Reish Pei, the Dalet Parshos, the last piece of Magen Avraham says there are places that are noyeg in the Shnas HaIbo they make Taneisim Shevav Tat. But he says in Shnas HaIbo. Doesn't talk about regular years, but there was nothing. interesting to add, he says, V'yesh ne'agim af v'yakal Pikudei. That they also made that, v'yakal Pikudei was added to it. That's what it says in the Magen Avraham. Kisisa they left out. Kisisa is because it's the chet, it's not the olam atikun. But the Parshos on Mishkan, which is the olam of tikun, that after tshuva you could build a Mishkan. Why in Shnasa Iba? So the Pri Megadim says, and that's what it says in the Shalah, because in Shnasa Iba came about only because the Levana made problems. The Levana, the Gemara says, the Levana came with a taina. He wants to have his own he doesn't want to be a makabel. The Levana has no he only gets the from the Chama. So why? It's not fair. We both share one kesa. I want my own kesa. The is the kesa. The Rishonim explain. I only have one kesa, and I'm using his kesa. I want my own So the Eibishter said, "Oy bazay, you don't like it? Lechi, not only are you not going to have your own umiati atzmech. You're going to become smaller. The Levana there's a pegam in the Levana. It keeps on getting smaller and smaller. Has a different hiluch than the Chama. That's all because of the Chet. Lasted love it says in the pasuk the Chama and the Levana will be together. So there's the Pegama Levana was really one of the first Chatom in the Bria, put it that way. Every Chet, says the Shlach Kodesh, is B'bchinas, I want to be my own boss. What's a Chet? I don't want to be bottled to the Eibishter. The Guf wants to have his own life, doesn't want to be bottled to the Neshama. Everything I do is only for the Neshama. I want to have my own Kesa. So every Chet is very similar to the Chet in the Poshet Pshat, to the Chet HaLavana. When we're working in the Shnasa Iba to be misakin between the Levana and the Chama, it's Nisaira Kitrug Lamala, that this Kitrug of Chet HaLavana, which every person in a way has. A Chet, he doesn't just want to be a Makabel, he doesn't just want to take directions. Mela it's a Zman of Tikkun. That's the closest to Poshet of Pshat. Akopanim is a Zman of Tikkun. I'm just going to say something Aga, which I thought today, that according to the Magen Avraham, the places that Vayakal Pikudei is included in the Shevavim, so you have 10 weeks of Shevavim. Right? Shevavim is 6, Tum Tesa Vayakal Pikudei is 10 weeks. 10 weeks, this is not such a difficult math. 10 times 7 is 70. So there's 70 days of Tshuva. 70 is an interesting number. Since we're coming closer to Purim, Medrash says a few places in Medrash, other places, that between the Igreis Rishonis and the Igreis Shniyos in the Megillah, the Igreis Rishonis were sent out Yud Gimel Nisan. That was against the Jews. Then they started to do Tshuva. Till Chav Gimel 7 was sent out the second Igreis. From Yud Gimel Nisan to Chav Gimel 7 is 70 days. Chazal make note of it. Shivim Yom, it's even in the Yom, Shivim Yom. What's the idea of Shivim? What's the idea of Shivim? Chazal talk about by the Chet of the Nachash. The Shlach Kodesh in the Sefer, every second page, Kemat talks about this, that the Shivim is where we call it always the Gemara, Aleph and Ayin became Nischalef. Before the Chet of Adam Arishan, it was with the Aleph. Kosnes with the Aleph. The and the Shama was Meir. It was bottle everything to the Aleph. After the Chet, it became a with the Ayin. Kosnes That's the Ayin Umais. There's Ayin Mastirin that are Mastir the They can hide the Chet changes from an Aleph to an Ayin. Tikkun, the tikkun of the 70 days of tshuva was to get back from the ayin, after the ayin shnois, golos, and bavel, to get back to the aleph, get back to the That's why it's very meduyik that on the Chav Gimel 7 it says in the Megillah Lahuda Meisa Eira. After the 70 days it says Lahuda Meisa Eira. That's when they got back to it with the aleph. Meila, so now we're finishing the 70 days. It's very interesting. The 70 days comes out Beis Adar this year. Tomorrow is the last Shabbos is also part of the Cheshvan's Pikudei stuff. So 70 days Parshos Pikudei. Besides that Beis Adar or Adar Beis, or Beis Adar, whichever you want to say it, is Gematria of So it's after the 7, we come back to the That's the Parshos Pikudei ends. Anan Hashem Yoimam ve'eish lefneim chol masayim. That's the eish is the Pashtus. I'll go on this food for thought. We're finishing the 70 days. However, I'll go on, we always wait till the end. In the end, we could also happen on the stuff. Good. I'm not going to finish this piece because it is already late. I wanted to say another piece, but also I don't know if I'm going to say the whole thing inside because I wanted a little bit of Pikudei as well. In the next piece, he brings out an interessante Zach. In the Gemara in Sanhedrin, Daf Yud Beis, the Gemara brings a pasuk by Shlomo HaMelech. It says, it brings it in the middle of the next column. Gemara says there that it says in pasuk that David HaMelech, the Shlomo HaMelech, made Yud Beis when he was taking care of the Binyan Abayis. He appointed Yud Beis Nitzivim, 12, call them, what do you call them? The heads of the committee, the people who took care of the things should run properly. They were called the Nitziv. Nitziv is like a shtickle governor, right? There's Yud Beis Nitzivim. Every Chodesh was a different Nitziv. That's what it says in the pasuk. Yud Beis Nitzivim for Yud Beis Chadoshim. Then it says the Lashon HaPasuk Unitziv Echad Ba'aretz. Besides the Yud Beis Nitzivim, and it says in the pasuk that there was each one was lechalkel for a chodesh. His job was to take care of a whole chodesh, right? That's where they got this idea of fundraising, giving you a chodesh. So it says the Nitziv Echad Ba'aretz. The Gemara says what means Nitziv Echad Ba'aretz. There was one that was for the chodesh Ibo. It says 12, and then it says Unitziv Echad Ba'aretz. The Gemara in Sanhedrin Yud Beis Taka. It's easy to remember. Says that was the Chodesh Ibo. So it's interesting that that's called Nitziv Echad Ba'aretz. That uses the Lashon Nitziv Echad Ba'aretz. But we'll leave that for a minute. He says here, he says a very interesting thing. I will try to work it out on our own nusach, but the idea I got from him. It's a nice idea. We have in the middle of brachas of Shemona Esrei, we have 12 brachas. Yeah, those 12 brachas. Okay, it says already in the Svarim, even though there's different shittas how, but what's the name of the Mudei Sefer? The Musa Sefer, Chaysin Yeshua. In the Chaysin Yeshua, the Talmud from Salam, Yeshua Hela. He has a whole beer. Each bracha is connected to one of the Shvatim. Yeah. Reitza b'Seshuva is connected to Ruven. Ishmael Yeleim is Yehuda. There's 12 brachas connected to Yud Beis Shvatim. But the Ma'aseh we know there's a 13th bracha. So he makes this kesher that just like in the Shneis, in the Chadoshim, there's 12, and then they added a 13th. In Tefillah there was a 12th, and then they added a 13th. It's very interesting. He draws it. I don't know if he draws it further, but I got this through him. The Gemara says in Sanhedrin Yud Beis, who was the Iker in the time of the Chazal, who was Isaac in Iber Shana, was Shmuel HaKatan. Shmuel HaKatan was very well versed in all the Yisaitis of the Iber, Seder Iber. Shmuel HaKatan is the one who made the Lamashina. It's a murder parallel. Shmuel HaKatan was as a brachas. He made Lam Al Shina. So that's enough. I just got that from him. It's a murder. Didn't see it any place else. Murder parallel. He's saying that Chodesh HaIba, the side of the Chodesh HaIba is to get rid of the Ra, to be masakin the chet of Ano Emloich, the chet of the Levan. The Lam Al Shina was also the Akiras Hara. That's the dimion that he says here, very bekitzer. Very bekitzer. He doesn't even bring the Shmuel a cotton pot. But I call upon him, he was ma'orim, this kesher between the two, that they both have an inyan of tikkun hara. That's the yesod of the chodesh. That's why we got rid of Amalek, Melchemes Amalek, and Melchemes and Haman in this chodesh, because the yesod of the chodesh, especially in the chodesh ha'ibah, is to get rid of the ra, to be mesaken the ra, to get the toiv. There's one more small piece here, and then we'll go to the parsha. And the last piece is a chsidische shtickle. Mishenichnes adam adam v'simcha. Why did it say Mishenichnas? You saw it come in. It should have said Havlelemem Mishegia. Azman is Shechiyonu v'Kimonu v'Higiyonu. That's the man. What's that also Mishenichnas? I think rather than in the Mishnayos and the Dorim it's used. In the Dorim they use the Lashon Nichnas. This Nichnas that. Not so, but I'll call upon him. What's he going to say? Ma Lashon Nichnas. Upirish nichnas begufa adam. The ador has to go be nichnas. You're not ma'abim b'simcha stam. If you look on the calendar and you see it's ador, noch gar nicht. It has to be, the ador is nichnas to the person. If the ador gets into your system, what ador is all about, then it brings a ribe simcha. That's the chsidische taich. Upirish nichnas begufa adam. Then he says on his way, Ki yei shin samachei giden, keneged yomei sashona. V'chol yom kairi lo'odom l'kayim mitzvah miyuchedes l'yom ahu. Sheshin samachei mitzvahs lo yisase mechuvanim gam kein l'gidim. Every gid has a different mitzvah attached to it. Chol gid mitzvah miyuchedes v'yom miyuched. So zeh HaKodesh. Ki v'zeh HaKodesh Tisha B'Av is keneged gid anosha. V'hi lo yisase mechuvanim keneged. So he says, Chodesh Adar is a mitzvah satluyim boy noisnim simcha. Don't know why, but the mitzvahs that connect to Chodesh Adar, they are mitzvahs. We don't know which they are. They are mitzvahs that give simcha. They're nichnas to the Adam. Ve'hem hagidim ha'meviim simcha b'shmirosam b'tara. Upirusha, mishanichnas, it goes into your head and into your guf. Inyan ha'chodesh laha'adam. Umekabel ha'oras hayom. That's the type of mishenichnas ador. Then he brings v'kosav b'svaram ha'kdoshim ki chodesh zeh neged shevet Yosef HaTzadik v'hu shmiras ois bris kodesh, which in ador, especially when we have a 13th chodesh, we know that gedolei milah shenichasu alei yud gimel b'Yisrael. So in this chodesh is a special inyan, and he says here Zchus says in all the svarim. Svarim that knew the emes, they didn't write Stam de Weltrein, and anybody who knows. Asher kol agidim nitlim boy, ushmirosam betara maybe simcha. When a person conducts himself b'kedusha betara, that brings simcha, and the opposite brings atzvus. The yahepech is atzvus, kenoida. Now, mishanichnas ador is Yosef HaTzadik's chodesh, and if it's nichnas, then it brings a riba of simcha. Right. Let's go to the parsha. Taka says in all the psalm, you're not. He doesn't say you should not. You shouldn't be besimcha. It's not. Simcha mozayim. Yeah. Okay. The first piece is again about Mishenichnas. I'm not going to go now. Try to get into the Parsha Mashahu. The Parsha Bechlal Be'echad Be'ador is Mashmirim al Ashkola ve'al Kelayim. Besides being Rosh Chodesh Ador, it has a very special meaning. We read already the Parsha Shkolim, but the Echad Be'ador is Mashmirim al Ashkolim. And this Zman HaMikdash, this was a very special day, Echad Be'ador. There was a cruise went out that you have to start giving the Machzis HaShekel. So, that's the Yesod. I believe last week we talked about a little bit why it's Machzis HaShekel. And the Parsha talks a little bit about the Schorr. I just want to say one word before I give the Sasem the floor. Yeah, an interesting Zach. In the Parsha it says, right, it says in the Parsha, the niggin of the Kriya is ma'ira what it says in the Gemara. That Moshe Rabbeinu, he was making a cheshbon, computation of all the dust. He made an exact cheshbon. It says in the Pasukim that the machzis hashekels that every Yid gave, the shishim ribu machzis hashekels. It says in the Pasukim exactly how much there was. It's exactly what they used for the Adonim. The whole silver from shishim ribu Yidden went in to the Adonim. Moshe Rabbeinu turned white, it says in the Gemara. There's another 1775 shkolim. He didn't know what happened to it, what they use it for. The Adonim was all the silver went into the Adonim, and there's more, because there's more than Shishim Riba Yidin. There's another 550, whatever it is. There's more. So what happened to the Ishkol? He reminded himself. They were Vovim la'amudim. They were the hooks for the amudim. It's not so fair. Why Shishim Riva Yidden got to be the Yesod of the Mishkan? That's the Shishim Riva. Oisiyah, Shishim Riva Yidden. They're the Yesod of the Mishkan. And some people only became a hook for the amudim and the chatzah. So, doesn't sound fair. Why is it such? This is the Shaila. It says in the Imam, it's a small piece, and it says in the Talmud of Ramchal as well. Is that his name is? I forgot. Yeah, Valley. It says there that 1775 is an interesting number. If you add up all the Aleph Bays, all the 22 letters, so this we could use already. You add up all the Chav Bays, the Aleph Bays, from Aleph to Tav, 1, 2, with the gematries of each Ois, that's the number you get, exactly. No cradles, nothing. 1775 is the Sach Hakra from all the Misparim from the Chav Bays Oisius. That's what they write. But in a masbah, so what? What is this? I don't know. I'm thinking. It says in the first pasuk in the Haftarah, the Parshos Bamidbar, it says, "V'hoya mispeh b'nei Yisrael k'chol hayam asher lo yimad v'lo yisafem eroiv." So the Gemara asks a question. It says it. It says "v'hoya mispeh," and then it says you can't count it. Is there a mispeh? Is there not a mispeh? Pasuk is a shver pasuk. The mispeh b'nei Yisrael is going to be asher lo yisafem. So why does it say there's a mispeh? The Gemara says, "Kam b'zman she'Yisrael oiser v'tzayim shomokim, kam b'zman she'ein Yisrael." Now, Tesis in the beginning of Ketzim Mevachim already says, "Ein Yisrael oiser v'tzayim shomokim" doesn't mean Yisrael einam oiser v'tzayim shomokim. It means they're not in a big madrega of oiser v'tzayim shomokim. That's like hikdimun asla nishma. It's a big madrega. Oiser v'tzayim shomokim. But it doesn't mean they're oivre avera. It doesn't say ein oiser v'tzayim shomokim. They're not being over averes. They're not in the dagger to make it such work. So they're smaller madrega Yid. The Yidden, the Erlich Yidden. They say, ois, every ois in the Torah, the oisius created the world. And B'tzalel made the Mishkan with oisius, Yidei B'tzalel tzaf oisius. That's really the emissar building, the emissar B'kayach Habriya. So ois is really infinite. And ois is not a number. An ois is an ois, an aleph is an aleph, with all what an aleph has. It has the aleph lamed pei, it has the milos, it has milos, it has a tsura, it has this and that. This is aleph. The Talmud of the Gemara, Mendel's Klover, wrote a whole sefer. The first sefer only covers, I think, aleph and beis. That's what's linked in every ois. It's ein sefer, it's an ois. But the mispah, one of the nekudas that we have, which no other ummah dachtzach has, that the alphabet is also a number. Every ois stands for a number. But a number is a gvul. A number is not ein seif. It's a number. Das is this. If it's one, it's not two. It ends by one. A number is much more mugbal than the ois. There was Yidden, we're going above Shishim Riboy, whoever those neshamas are, find the neshamas, aber they're mechuven to the mispah. They are mechuven to the mispah of the ois. They don't have the ois itself. They're mechuven to the mispah. They're mugbal. They're more, I can't explain exactly, but they're more mugbal. They're not in the same daga. That's called ein oisim l'tzayin. They're not the daga from oisim l'tzayin shalom. A lot of they listen to the Eivishter, they're in the world of Nishma, but to make the Nasa, right? So they have to be hooked up to the Amudim. All the Psalms say like that. Amudim means Tzadik Yisrael, whatever Amud is. And they're Vav, they could connect with the Siyua from the Tzadikim, from the Kshay, the big Madrege could pick them up, and they are hooked onto that. That's L'chore. This was something, at least a stick of shot in what went on. Moshe Olson, so sein gesund, has his knecht, which I might as well say over. And he says that Purim came about because of these Yidden. They were the Gerim for the Ness of Purim. The Vavi Yidden, they were the Gerim. Why? Because the Gemara says in Megillah, that Haman gave Shkolim, takes next year the Cheshbon, the Bach, he gave Aseres Alof and Kikei Kesef, Eshker al Ginzei HaMelech, he gave it against the Yidden's Machzis HaShekel. They gave Machzis HaShekel, he's going to give against them. He's going to give it to the charitable cause of the government. He's going to also be Ma'eres Chusim like they did, whatever it is. But he looked into the Cheshbon and he only gave Keneged Shishim Riboy. He didn't give Keneged. If you look in the Cheshbon, it doesn't show. He gave Asas Lov Tosi makes the Cheshbon, it's only Keneged Shishim Riboy Machzis HaShekel. But the V'ha'elef, he forgot about it. So Mamela, they weren't there. Yes, Zchus is geblieben. They weren't knocked out. So he says, the Ness of Purim is from the Vavim Amudim. Good. Fine. Uwe Medrash.
Literally hold up the Adam.
What?
Literally hold up the Adam. Literally hold up the Adam.
Right, other way around.
What Pshan? I mean, the grace of the Neshamas couldn't win on the Shech Neshamas win. What's Pshan?
Avramo, you want to know Pshan? So, wenn ich weiß, sag ich dir. Aber Medrash, das geht schon rein in Male Ocha, schwere Sachen. Ja. Uwe Medrash, Vayaviva Samishkin, the second column on top. Don't get scared, we won't learn the whole thing. We'll see what we can do. Uwe Medrash, Vayaviu es Samishkin el Moshe. In the end of the Parsha, it says they took care of everything, the Tzal and the people, and then they brought it to Moshe. Rabbi, the Medrash tells you this pasuk. Rabbi's bonis asu choyel. Choyel says Sloim goes also on the Memches Kroshim. But who put up the Mishkan? Who put up the Kroshim? Moshe Rabbeinu. They made it, but they needed Moshe Rabbeinu to put up the Mishkan, to put the whole thing together. They made the Protim, but the Klal had to come back to Moshe Rabbeinu. Rabbi's bonis osu choyel, v'atolis al kolona. The hine mikoidim hoya is eres min hashamayim. First, before the Chet, the Eibishter told us what to do. Moshe Rabbeinu olav shalom hevi ha-Torah min hashamayim. First he brought down the Torah, and through the Torah, himshech libon shal Yisrael l'shamayim. V'ato. Now, after Chet, in the Olam HaTikon, they had to start a different way. That's true. Hutzach liyas is eres melamata. This eres had to start from the bottom and then go up, not from the top down, from the bottom up. V'osu b'nei Yisrael ha-mishkan. V'heviu al Moshe Rabbeinu Shalom. They had to make it, and then Moshe Rabbeinu could bring it up. They start from the bottom, just like the luchos. Afterwards, they had to make the luchos. V'zeu shekos of Rabbi's bonus asu choyel. Ki lo yehoya yochel Moshe Rabbeinu Shalom rosis koichai. Moshe Rabbeinu's special niche, kavi yochel, his special koyach, he couldn't give it and attach it to make the finishing touch until they did this. Acha tiknu b'nei Yisrael ba'atzmusam or ba'atzmam tikkun hatzorich. They had to first make the tikkunim. They're on a different level. Uksheniskav ulis echad, when they got together, all the achodim, all the pratim were put together by all the people who were working on it. When they're finished from them, then Moshe Rabbeinu could put his koyach on it. Moshe Rabbeinu is shokol keneged shishim ribi, but first he had to put the shishim ribi together. Ukemoshe kosev, vahi bishuran melech, ze Moshe Rabbeinu shalom. But when is he the melech? Bisasef Roshei Am. After you put together the people's part, Keloima, Acher shenis achtu b'nei Yisrael, chal koiche shel Moshe Rabbeinu. Ukemoshe kosev, vayar Moshe, vayivorech oisam, b'chines shechal anhoges aspeklaya ha'me'ir, the Loshen, I can't tell you exactly, should we fix something here? But the idea you understand. The Medrash brings out, and it's printed in the Balaturim in the back of Daskein in beautiful pieces, that all the Lashonis that you have over here, you have by the Bria. By the Bria, it's Vayar Elikim, it's Kol HaSha'osa. Here it's Vayar Moshe. There it's Vayivorech Elikim. Here it's Vayivorech Moshe. But it's mamish, it's going in the Seder of the Bria. And Vayar Moshe, that's a new anhoga. Aspaklaya Me'ira, B'chines Riyah. He's teaching us a little bit. Only a little we could learn from him. It's a different way of learning Chumash. Moshe saw. That's what title Vayar Moshe. The Riyah from Moshe. Moshe put his Riyah into it. It's Aspaklaya Me'ira. It's a whole different level than they were. Vayar Moshe. Just like Vayar Elikim. The Ramban says Vayar Elikim means Riyah HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Kiyumei Shel Davar. Vayar Moshe means Moshe's Riyah put in Kiyum. That's Moshe's Riyah. Vayivorech. V'romzu Chazal. Niskashe Moshe Rabbeinu. This was Pikudei Shkolim then, but I allowed myself to learn because it's Echad V'ador. It's mamish today for Machzis HaShekel. Romzu Chazal Niskashe Moshe Rabbeinu b'Machzis HaShekel. V'chein b'chol Molechus HaMishkan. Why is that? That's not Moshe's Zach. That's Klal Yisrael Zach. The Asiyah, that Machzis, that's everything that's in the bottom. Who can all say Tzorch is Eres Malamata. Kemoshe Kosev Pischili. Uchziv. This is special for Rosh Chodesh. This was Emes' famous pasuk, and it's a pasuk on the Haftarah from Shabbos HaChodesh in Yecheskel Mem Vav. It says over there, Shar HaPoine Kodem. In the Beis HaMikdash, there is a special shar that goes all the way back to Kedem. It's closed Sheishes Mei HaMaisa, V'yom HaShabbos Yipaseach, U'v'yom HaChodesh Yipaseach. Twice it opens the shar, since now is Rosh Chodesh, and it's coming Shabbos, so we can see a little bit. It's one of Hassem's famous topics. B'yom HaChodesh Yipaseach, B'yom HaShabbos Yipaseach. So there's two psichos. Rosh Chodesh, something opens up, and Shabbos, but there's two different sides of the Zach. Chodesh, who makes Rosh Chodesh? We make Rosh Chodesh. HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem, today we said in Musa Boch HaTorah Hashem Mekadesh Yisrael V'Rosh Chadoshim. The Gemara says in Brachos it means the Eibush is Mekadesh Yisrael and Yisrael is Mekadesh the Chadoshim. The Gemara says Shabbos, we say Boch HaTorah Hashem Mekadesh HaShabbos. Shabbos the Eibush is Mekadesh. So one comes from the Mala, Chodesh starts from the bottom. B'yom HaChodesh Yipaseach, B'yom HaShabbos Hein Beis B'chinas Hanal. Shabbos comes Min HaShamayim. V'Chodesh is a mokim shetzorch is chadshus. That's down here where things need to become this chadash. V'toli b'kiddush bezdin v'chinas te'er shabal peh. V'heim k'mei beis maftachei sheyesh lahadelas. A door could have an inside lock and an outside lock. A key from inside and a key from outside. Mafteach echad kavayachal Hashem yizboch b'shamayim. The Eibishter could open from his side, and we have a mafteach from our side. Mafteach echad achitzim belibes b'nei Yisrael. V'zeu shekoso ki sisa b'ad shkolim ki sisa es roish b'nei Yisrael. Ki Moshe Rabbeinu olav shalom zoikev roishin shel Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu, that's a Gemara's Lashon. Medrash's Lashon. It's a Gemara also. Moshe Rabbeinu is zoikev roishin b'ba basra. Taf Yud. Moshe Rabbeinu is Zeikev Reishon Shel Yisrael. Aber Bnei Yisrael, that's the Reish, he's Madgish. Moshe Rabbeinu will pick up your head, but who picks up the guf? That's our job. Moshe Rabbeinu picks up from the head and up. He's the Reishon Shel Yisrael. Aber Bnei Yisrael tzrichim ahalis haguf im raglayim ad Reish. We have to get to the Reish. Then Moshe Rabbeinu takes over. The same word that he said over here. The Klal Yisrael has to make the Mishkan. Afterwards, to bring the Ashras Hashrina and to make put the whole thing together. That's right to Zach. But Oz, same thing over here. Moshe Rabbeinu, we can make him as a Mishkan. Uminidves machzes hashekel naase kol klei mishkan. The klei mishkan was done from the machzes hashekel. I don't know what he means over here. This needs eon. It's not the nidves machzes hashekel. The machzes hashekel was used only for the adonim. This line needs eon. Uminidves machzes hashekel naase klei mishkan. He didn't mean dafkil. I don't know. I'm not going to answer it. It's Parshos. It's only the adonim. V'akome naase al yidei Moshe Rabbeinu. That's what he's saying. The asiyah, that's Klal Yisrael. Oh, but to put it up, it should be a live thing and stand, that's Moshe Rabbeinu. The remez, by the Machzes HaShekel, says, Beka lakul goylus. It's a nice remez. For Echad B'yado. It's Nachamor, by the Shkolim, it says you give Beka. Beka means a half. You B'kiyas hayam. You split it in a half. A split shekel. And it says, Beka lakul goylus. Now Beka is the same Oisi as says Ekev. Beka Lashon Ekev. Shebnei Yisrael have to pick up from the Ekev till the Golgoylus. Beka Lashon Ekev. Shebnei Yisrael tzich moharim ha'ekvayim ad ha'Golgoylus shehu ha'roish kanal. Ubeiz b'chines hanal. These two b'chines. The Guf, the Ekev, and the Roish. That's Yankiv and Yisrael. Yaakov is Yud Ekev. It says in the Pasuk, he got his name Yaakov from Ekev. K'moshe Koso Yisa Yaakov Raglov. Achikach Zochar L'Shem Yisrael Liroish. And that's the Machzes HaShekel. V'hu b'chines Machzes HaShekel. Lishkel Kol HaMaisen. Acha, here they did a bad job. This is supposed to be Acha Hayut. Lishka kol ha'maisen acha hayud, right? Machzes hashekel, yud. It's 10 gera. To take all the maisen and to be mechabered with the yud. Yaakov is ekev. That's beka, but it has to be mechabered to the yud. The yud is chochma. Sharoim is lechachma v'das. Shleilas is belidas. That's the yesod of machzes hashekel. That the guf should be connected to the machshava. There's a yud attached to the ekev, like Yaakov. Not to do things. There's a lashon mechaba in Shulchan Aruch. Chayev odom lishkel kol ma'asav. A person is chayev to be shekel his ma'asav. Not poshut. You can't stam do things. Shleilas is believe das lies hamachshava v'haratzon b'chol ma'asav Hashem yisbarach. And those machzes hashekel, is a good word. That idea of machzes hashekel, yud geiro hashekel, that could become a yesod to the Mishkan. If a person is shekel kol ma'asav, that every half is connected to the other half, then he could become a yesod for a Mishkan. The person himself could become a yesod for a Mishkan. Everything stands on this nekuda from being shekelas ma'asav. Klal Yisrael did theirs. They did the Yaakov job. Li roish, that you leave from Moshe Rabbeinu. Achikach nitin by koichish shel Moshe Rabbeinu b'chines li roish. That's Moshe Rabbeinu shezoikev Roishon shel Yisrael hanal. Ubeiz b'chines hanal ein b'chines emes ve'emuna. Shekesavnu b'makom acha. He says normally first was emes and then is emuna. Shadeha emes nisbara emuna. That was before the chet. V'zeh madregi rishonu shekoydem hachet. Achikach ha'yatikon al yedei emuna b'choshech Then came Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe Emes v'Seirosei Emes. Moshe Kosev uVetzalel ben Uri Osa is Kol Asher Tziva Hashem Dor Shechazal Afilo Masha Lo Yom Alei Moshe Rabbeinu Uksiv Kechol Asher Nimara Lo Yidia Ki Bnei Yisrael B'Choshech Al Yedei Amuna Yichoylom Lechaven Das Aviyim Sheb'Shemayim Yoisem Mikol HaNeviim Klal Yisrael HaBekoyach From Amuna V'heim Eroyim L'Malo Ki b'nei Yisrael oisem betumam r'tzayna yizbach. Ki Moshe Kosev, that's one more point. Look in the pasuk, you'll see what he means. Vayar Moshe, v'hinei osu, they did the whole thing. What does v'hinei sound like? We know that whenever it says v'hinei, it's a chiddush. Right? V'hinei Hashem nitzeh v'olo, v'hinei sulam u'tzavarza. V'hinei is a chiddush, something else. I didn't expect it. Vayar Moshe es kolam alocha, v'hinei. By studies, he says there was a chiddush by Moshe Rabbeinu, so that Klal Yisrael were able to produce what they produced. A nice knetch in the pasuk. This is a v'hinei. Vayar Moshe v'hinei also. Masha nira l'dava tema be'enov. It's a tema. How in the world did Klal Yisrael from the bottom, before Moshe Rabbeinu, they were able to be mechav, like the Ramban says, it's a dava pella, b'tzalel, with people that were in Mitzrayim and everything, say physically, say b'machshava. How did they come to such a madrega? The Moshe Rabbeinu was a chiddush. After Chet, they jumped back to such a madrega. Vayar Moshe v'hinei, it was a gewaldige chiddush. Stopping over here. I just want to say one more small word. Maybe I'll leave it for you just asking the question. The Medrash says, a famous Medrash, in the beginning of the Parsha. It says, Eile Pikudei HaMishkan, Mishkan Eidis. What's the Mishkan Eidis? Not a pshat. Medrash says, Nichnas Moshe Eitzel Betzalel. Moshe Rabbeinu came to Betzalel. V'ro, and he saw v'hinei hoisir. These leftovers. Not everything went in the Mishkan. Moshe Rabbeinu picked up his hands. He said, Rabbeinu Shalom, Ma Nasa B'Meisa. What should we do with this leftover? The Medrash says, David just said, you know what? I say Mishkan Leidus. There's leftovers. Besides the Mishkan, make a Mishkan Leidus. Okay. It could be it's Kipshuta, there's Shver, some Sefer, there's much. There's like another structure there. Because besides the Mishkan, there was a little base Medrash on the side. There are those who learn like that. The Medrash is mashma like that. It could be. But Medrash is Medrash, and most people learn Medrash more al pi drush, but you have to know even drush, you have to have a license, you have to know what to say, what's sayable, what's not sayable. But the kasha is the obvious kasha. Why didn't Betzalel have this problem? It looks like Nichnas Moshe Eitzel Betzalel. Moshe Rabbeinu saw his leftovers, and Betzalel didn't see leftovers. Why only Moshe Rabbeinu saw leftovers? There's a famous kasha which all the children are going to ask by the table. Why was the Mishkan? Why did Torah write so much parshas about the Mishkan? My Nicholas asked me, it could have said in the Torah. Yasu Moshe Betzalel B'chol Bnei Yisrael Kechol Asher Tziva Hashem Eloheim B'chol Protei V'Diktukei. The Torah had to write over. The Torah skims words. The Medrash is kasha by Eliezer Even Avon. It's even a bigger kasha. 2 whole parshas. What's the real teretz? There's the Rutzim to show the Chavivis, so that's enough for the reason. The Etzim says in Big Ro, if the Torah is telling me what happened, well, you have to tell me such a thing. It's hard to listen again. I know. Torah is not telling me what happened. What happened because it's in the Torah. There's only a Mishkan because there's so many Oisius in the Torah. That what made the Mishkan really. The Mishkan is a Mishkan because there's parashas in the Torah, which is called Mala'olam, it's Oisius, it's Oiris, it's beyond our Asaga. And every time it says in the Torah, Lashon of the brought down the Shechina, Molamata. It's Tut. The Torah made the Mishkan. The Torah is not telling us there was a Mishkan. We shouldn't say this pasuk. If it doesn't say this pasuk, you don't have a Mishkan. Every pasuk goes into the Mishkan. That's the emes hateret. It's not so deep. The emes is that. That's what Torah is. Torah is a story. Telling me they made a Mishkan, then tell you every prat that they made. This makes it, when a state nicht das hast, you don't have a Mishkan. Moshe Rabbeinu was before Chet. Not going to be marked now, but after Chet, the Kalim, they couldn't put in. You can't put in all the Eiris and all the Asogis and all the Seides of Mishkan, which Bezalel knew. But after Chet, I don't have the Kalim to put them in. My Kalim are limited. I don't have any more. I can't bring all the Eiris that the Moshe Rabbeinu saw before the Chet. Can't go into the Mishkan after the Chet. So who, like he just said, who makes the Kalim? Everything Klal Yisrael. Good, they can make Kalim that could be the Kabul But there's Eiris that Moshe Rabbeinu said, my Eiris didn't all go into the Mishkan. But I saw the Mala. It's a Mishkan in the Mishkan. So the Eibush said, those Eiris will stay in the Torah. That goes into the Eiris, it goes into the Torah. And the Chanami, not everything can go into the Mishkan. That's after Chet, whatever they were able to make. You can't have a sloppy thing. You can't have Kalim and the Eiris are hanging over it. The Eiris have to go into the Kalim. Klal Yisrael can make Kalim. Okay, they made Kalim. They put Eiris. Moshe Rabbeinu says, that's what I saw. What I saw before Chet was it's ganz andere Sachen. For that, she says, leave it in the Torah. Said, come a time, it will come. Ben Bechaya says, that's the Medrash brings the pasuk. Amalacha is dayim b'hoisa. It says Vayakim. Ben Bechaya says, hoisa is Torah. The Malacha was dying for a certain amount, but couldn't take everything. I'm only saying ulai. Somebody has a different. It's also good. Shabbos, Chodesh.